Now, more technically, we can say obligations, yani, but obligations of the heart. And sins, meaning though of the heart and other organs. For me, though, if I just want to summarize all of this, I'll just say the sins. But I do mean to talk about the obligations of the heart too. I was telling you that this section here is really a great chunk of your knowledge, although we're not going to go into a lot of details. As a beginner, a layman with decent knowledge, what's that decent knowledge you have? If you have creed, so you know the right belief, and you know rules of blasphemy. If you have rules, rules means purification, prayer, zakat, fasting, hajj. Those are worships. I could say here if I want, let me take the word rules out right here. Worships and deals, the good piece of knowledge for you. It's not just some rules how to sell and buy. This something means a lot if you understand it, incorporate it into yourself. Will straighten your thinking for you. And here the sins. That's why I would say learning about the sins is a quarter of your knowledge. So we're going to start with the heart. Al-qalb. It's called in Arabic qalb. Al-qalb. Qalb in Arabic means flipping or turning, like to turn something from one side to another, like a coin. The heart is called in Arabic qalb because it flips, it changes quickly. Understand that well for yourself and others too. Amongst the benefits of knowing this is being able to get over extreme emotions. Like at some point you are hurt. Inshallah, will get better. I mean, hurt in your heart. I'm not talking about organ here. And some point you are even what? Uh, your head's in the clouds. You met someone. You're in love. Your heads are in the clouds. You're floating. You don't feel the ground in your feet. You will probably land one day, even if you still love the person. So the heart changes, doesn't just stay one way. And even when it comes to the sins and the obedience, someone would find himself a good doer. And then if Allah willed, he will change and he will become a sinner. And then this sinner, he might find himself that he got some strength and becomes a good doer after he was a sinner. Then he might change again, become a sinner again. Then he might become a good doer again. Ah, except for the hearts of the pious, the awliya, I mean, the hearts of the saints. Their hearts, قلوبهم لا تنقلب. Their hearts don't flip. Not in this regard here. I'm not saying in all regards, but not in this regard. Not in this regard of the obedience. In regards to the obedience, their hearts settle. So they just stay obedient. That's it. Is it possible for a saint to commit a major sin? It's possible. It's rare though. Few and far in between. And the case of the saint is that he mostly just won't sin. Yani, uh, I'm posing a question about a major sin. What about small sin? Not even small sin. The wali is not just doing small sins. He doesn't sin. But if he could fall into a big sin, then of course he could fall into a small sin. But he could fall into a big sin. Any person who believes that a saint is impeccable from falling into a big sin, then he is, in this case, an extremist. And our Shaykh, he says, may Allah have mercy on him, anyone who believes that it's impossible that a prophet could do a makruh, a disliked thing, then this is also extremism. Too extreme. To believe that a prophet, it's impossible that he could even do something disliked. The Shaykh says this is too extreme. Rahimahullah ta'ala. It's not impossible. Because a prophet could do something disliked just to teach the people that it's not haram. So it's not impossible. Mm. So we're going to start with the heart obligations. Some of them. We want to go through some basics here. And the first basic, well, what the Sheikh teaches us, I'll mention it, but it's not really where I was going to start. The Sheikh himself, may Allah have mercy on him, he teaches us that the first heart obligation is belief in Allah and His Messenger, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Why I was not going to mention that, only because of how obvious it is and because we really covered it when we talked about belief. Where I was going to start was here, sincerity. Without number one, you're going to be a kafir altogether. So that's the most important heart obligation. Number two, sincerity. Sincerity means what? Yani what it's called ikhlas. Sincerity means to do your good deed only for the sake of Allah. That's what it is. This is a very, very, very important obligation of the heart. Sincerity is purity. I'm going to purify your intention. Yani, right here, I can just mention for you the sin of the heart, which is the insincerity. What's the opposite of the sincerity? Opposite of sincerity is insincerity. This means being a show off. Or some people say show out. And the Arabic word is riya. Insincerity, riya. The sincerity is to do the good deed for the sake of Allah. The insincerity then is to do the good deed for the sake of someone else. What does it mean to do it for the sake of someone else? That's not blasphemy? Doing the good deed for the sake of someone else, that's not blasphemy? No, it's not blasphemy, but it's ugly like blasphemy. It resembles blasphemy. It's not blasphemy though. That's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam called it ashirkul asghar, the minor shirk, the minor paganism, insincerity, the minor paganism. What's paganism? Worshipping someone other than Allah. What's insincerity? It is not worshiping someone other than Allah. It is to hope that someone other than Allah will recognize your worship of Allah. He would see your worship of Allah. He will recognize it. And he wants that to be impressive. He hopes you like it, that you're impressed with his display. That's the insincerity. So what is the case of this insincerity? The case of this insincerity is that it is what? A major sin. For sure it's a major sin. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, فَإِنَّهُ الشِّرْكُ الْأَصْغَرُ. It is the minor paganism. So that's not going to be a small sin there. It's not going to be compared to paganism and be small. What does it look like? Uh, well, from the outside, you might not know the person has it. Yani, you might not even know your own insincerity, let alone someone else's. That's the problem here. That you could be insincere and not know, not realize it. You lack self-awareness. So, what do you do here? You look into your heart always, always, always. Keep checking your heart and checking your heart and checking your heart always. Be honest with yourself and be sincere. Yani, be uh, checking yourself. So, I'm saying the same thing over and over again. I'm not finding other words here. It means when you are praying, for example, you're going to start. And in your heart, you're going to be saying, "Now I pray lillahi ta'ala, such and such prayer." So perhaps you start off sincere, but what could happen is that the insincerity will just creep into your heart. It's like something that comes back. It's like a fly. You can wave him away, he's going to come back. And that's a nuisance. So that's why you want to keep checking your heart all the time. And don't overestimate yourself here. Because the scholars said the last thing a person will lose before he becomes a wali is insincerity. That shows how deep it goes. The human being is inclined towards liking praise and liking recognition. Even the small ones. Be mindful with the babies. How do you praise them? How often? In what way? To what extent? Be mindful so that you don't foster in their hearts the love of being praised and recognized. They want you to see. They want you to say, "Yay, good job. Yes, you're good. Very good. You're the best." There's something there, of course, Jan, you want to encourage them, but you want to instill in them the ways of sincerity, which is for the sake of Allah only. When you are sincere, you don't care what the other people think. But not caring what the other people think doesn't mean you're going to be a fool. Some people, because they don't care what other people think, they are fools. Because this for them means I will do whatever I want to do. I will say whatever I want to say. I don't care what anyone thinks about me. That's not what I'm talking about. That's a fool. That's a fool there. I'm talking about a person who says this Prayer, now I'm going to do this prayer. I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm going to do it for the sake of Allah. I want to pray here too. I'm going to pray right here on my job here in this right here. I'm going to pray right here in this grass. I'm going to pray here in the mall right here. I'm just going to stand over to the side. I'm going to pray. And wait, I got to go put my foot in the sink before I pray in the mall. Let me go put my foot in the sink in front of the kuffar who think I'm weird. I'm going to do it anyway though. Or I'll find another way. Maybe I'll go buy, if I'm that concerned, I'll go buy a bottle of water and sit down somewhere and pour the water over my foot. Maybe I don't have time or money or whatever. My obligation's going to get done here. I don't care what somebody thinks here. And like that, you can take that and apply it to all sorts of things. Going out the house covered, or other things. So the insincerity, it creeps into the heart. Some said it's like a black ant on a black boulder, not a hollow boulder, a full boulder. A black ant on a dense black boulder in the black of the night. What does that mean? It means you will not detect it. It's there though, but you won't detect it. The insincerity creeps into your heart like an ant creeps into a building. Yani, you're sitting somewhere. You see an ant crawling across your table. You know where he came from? How he got in there? You have no idea. That's how the insincerity will get into your heart. And different people have different triggers for this insincerity. Like some people are show offs for the girls. Some people are show offs for the sheikh. Some people are show offs for the learners. Like this. Some people are show offs just for the Muslims, just in general. They have general insincerity. No particular trigger here. One person, subhanAllah, I saw him. I was concerned for him. I had half a mind to say something to him, but I didn't know if I could say something. Which was that what? I saw him, he was giving someone a charity. So he gave it to him. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Then when they got close to some people, he said, wait, let me get that back. So he gave it back to him. So then he does like he's correcting his intention, but he's in front of the people. And then he gave it to him. And like the people can see. So I was so concerned. That's how the insincerity, maybe he was sincere, but that's how the insincerity will get you. Maybe you saw some videos like on YouTube or something or the like. Some people they have tattoos or they have rings or some women they have nails. So what do? They wear something just for that tattoo to be seen. Like as if it's as if they put a tattoo on their spot on some spot and then all their clothes fine, they're just gonna rip a hole out of their clothes where the tattoo is so you can see it. As if they might as well do like that, Yani. It's a way of saying, notice this about me here. And or when they talk and they have tattoos on their hands or their arms, or they have jewelry, they have rings, or they have nails. So you see how they move. They move in such a way, like if the rings are on one hand, that one hand is the one that's always in the camera. It's like as if they're just talking to you with body movement, but really there's something else there. Maybe they don't see it themselves. They don't realize themselves. Uh the insincerity that they have, even though this is not an act of worship, but it's the base same thing, wanting to be noticed, wanting someone to see you. The sin is to do it in the worship. That's what we learned. And some people, their insincerity, well, for all the people, it's a sickness, but some people are sicker than others. Some people are so sick here that they would deliberately not eat, not because of wanting the reward of fasting, rather to achieve an appearance of being famished, worn down, dull complexion, and then to appear humble, and maybe wears just jubba, like cloak, and kufi, or and turban, yani qalensua for the head, and turban, and hangs out in the masjid. This one was his case. His case is not just he wants the people to notice him and praise him and think highly of him. That's sick enough. He went through all of that to be noticed. That's very sick. What else, though? Some of them, they go so far as to take the money from the people. They show themselves like this, and then they find the Muslims like that. And the Muslims would say, look at this pious man. Here, take this sadaqah. And that's what they want. They want to take the people's money or even food. If the people give them food, they'll be happy too. Okay. Sheikh Abdullah said, if you correct your intention in the middle of the deed, then you'll start getting reward again. Yani, you lose reward for insincerity. Not only is a major sin, also you have no reward. If it got into your deed, if it got into you in the middle of your deed, it will cancel your reward. Then you'll be doing that deed without any reward. It won't invalidate it though. It'll still be valid, but no reward. And it will confirm a sin for you. The Sheikh said, if you catch yourself and correct your intention in the middle of your deed, then you'll start getting reward again. Okay. What else is an obligation of the heart? Amongst the obligations of the heart is patience, sabr. You know, sabr. There's four types of patience. But one of them is not obligatory. Three of them are obligatory, one's not obligatory. There is the most important patience, the highest patience and most rewardable is patience with avoiding sin. It is said that avoiding one sin is better than doing 1,000 good deeds. 1,000 optional good deeds, not 1,000 obligatory good deeds. This one is most rewardable because of how much a person has to fight himself to achieve it. Then there is patience with doing obligations. Like you're sleepy, you didn't pray your Isha yet. You are sleepy and comfortable, cozy, and you woke up at Fajr time. Maybe even you take a ghusl too. And maybe you don't even have warm water. Uh, Now you got to get up in the dawn out of your cozy bed to take a cold shower. Or I'll give you another one. This one's smaller though. What if you have some mucus in your head? Don't swallow that. That's haram. You have to spit it out. Some people will not be patient with that. They're just going to swallow it. Spit it out, even if it means you spit it into your collar, spit it into your clothing. You can't spit it on the floor where you are. Spit it into your clothing. Swallowing it is haram though, because it's disgusting. It's haram to eat disgusting things. And yani, you can take those examples and apply them to other things. And the third one is patience with calamities, disasters, death, injury, poverty, sickness. You're not going to let the calamity be a reason for you to sin. Mucus is like the stuff that comes down from your head. Sometimes it will come out of your nose. When you have a runny nose, that's mucus. Phlegm, I would say phlegm is what comes from your chest. That's haram to swallow too. Both of them are disgusting. You have to spit it out either way if it gets into your mouth. You're welcome. So if you are poor, don't steal. Don't say that's it. I'm desperate. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Give me that gun. Give me that knife. Or any other calamity or disaster or hardship. Don't let it push you to sin. Like maybe sometimes a person, just because there's a calamity, he would just sin only. Like the example I gave you, it looks like there's a reason. He says, I'm poor. I need money. I'm going to go sin so I can survive. So you can't do that. Some people, they just sin only. The calamity makes them weak. It's like they don't care at the moment, so they will just do a sin. And what's this fourth patience that's not obligatory? Patience with permissible, any permitted pleasures. Patience with permitted pleasures. Like what? Like permitted pleasure, like what? Like salt in your food. Oh, salt sometimes makes all the difference. Like fancy stuff. Clothes, car, etc. Anything fancy. But not here is marriage, not marriage here. One should not avoid marriage under the pretext of being disinterested in the world. Yani, you can, but you don't have to be like that here. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he got married, and he is more disinterested than any of us in the world. And other prophets did too. But there were prophets who didn't get married, and they weren't interested. Yahya alayhi salam, he wasn't interested in getting married, though he was a healthy man. If you're not interested, then okay, then you're not interested. But what I mean here, when I say don't refrain from marriage in this way, I mean to say you're a person who needs that and you just purposely avoid it, then don't do that. It's probably not a good idea. But what you could do is, yeah, maybe you don't need to have more than you need. I'll just put it that way. Uh, as for having more than one wife, what we learned is we don't say one statement that is sunnah and we don't say one statement that is not sunnah. We say this depends on an individual basis. We won't say having one wife is sunnah with one statement, one definitive statement, and we won't say having more than one wife is sunnah with one definitive statement. Rather, depends. And don't take something wrong here. If a person did have fancy clothing, does that mean his heart is really attached to the world? Not necessarily. Person could have fancy clothing for the sake of Allah, sincere for the sake of Allah. I has fancy clothing for the sake of Allah. Someone might say, "What? What?" I would say to that person, "Don't you know how to do things for the sake of Allah?" It means, for example, a person has fancy clothing for the sake of Allah because he knows that makes it easier for him to teach the people. Because when he looks nice and people are more inclined to talk to him. But if he were to come the way he really feels, if he were to come dressed the way he really feels, then maybe the people will not learn from him. Because that's how the people are. So for the sake of Allah, he does that. Or I'll give you a different example. Maybe not teaching the people. Maybe he has to deal with politicians. So you're going to go to talk to a senator, a governor, a mayor, a prime minister, looking like a bum? No, doesn't mean your heart is attached, but it's appropriate here. Now you're going to correct your intention and wear some nice clothes. And this one, when his heart is detached, could be that his underclothes are all raggedy. It has nice clothes on the outside, it has tuxedo on the outside, cut you call, and all his underclothes are ripped and shredded and has holes, but clean because he's Muslim. Okay, any question here? Let me give you a few more before we end so that next time we can start with a new thing, not continue here. We'll finish this one now. Take some more. Amongst the obligations of the heart is hating the devil. Hating the devil. Because in the Quran there's an emphatic warning from the devil. All throughout the Quran, there's warning from the devil. Allah says, Inna shaytana kana lakum aduwwan fattakhidhuhu aduwwa. Indeed, the devil is an enemy of yours. So take him as an enemy. Don't listen to him. Don't let him have you stuck in the west-west. Don't let him haunt you. And recognize when he's working on you and what he wants from you. What does he want from you? He wants you to commit kufr. If he can't get you to commit kufr, he wants you to do a big sin so that he can take you from there to the kufr. If he can't get a big sin out of you, he wants you to do a small sin so that he can get you to the big sin so that he can get you to the kufr. If he can't make you do a small sin, he wants you to do something makruh, disliked, So to get you to a small sin, to get you to a big sin, to get you to the kufr, that's what he wants from you, to be a kafir. And if he can't make you do a small sin, then if he can't make you do something disliked, then he wants you to be depressed. And also he might just bother you, merely bother you with something that doesn't shake you. Yani, when he haunts the person, he wants to shake this person. He wants to get this person uh, off of his straight mind, out of his concentration. Rather, he wants to get that person into his pocket. He wants to have that person in his hand, like a bird that can't get out of his hand. That's what he wants from you. Uh, so you need to stay out of there. How are you going to do that with an invisible jerk who's a liar too? By learning and having self-awareness. The devil cannot read your mind. Don't talk out loud to yourself. He's going to know what's on your mind. But he might be able to read you anyway, even if you don't talk, because he might know you. Like if he's been with you for all your life, he or she. The devil who follows you, that's called qareen. Excuse me, the qareen. This one who is with you could have been with you from when you were born. It could be so much older than you, actually. Might be very old one, and maybe has experience with tricking humans. And could be a male or a female. And this one doesn't sleep. I don't know if any of them do. He will not sleep. When you sleep, he will just wait for you. That's it. What a jerk. La'natullahi alayh. Then when you wake up, then he's going to start with you. It's all day. As much as he can. But you want him to be bored. You want the devil to be bored, so that means you cannot give him any reaction. No obedience and not even any reaction. He's whispering to you, and you know he's whispering to you, for example. That in itself not a bad thing. And he wants you to do this or that. Don't even react. Or he wants you just to react so he can know what's on your mind. He's bored. He doesn't know what to do with you. So he say something to you just to see how you will react so he can see which way to go with you. Don't react. And you're still there waiting. Bored. Has nothing out of you. That's what you want. What else is an obligation of the heart? Loving the companions. Also, loving the pious people. Question: is it possible for them to become Muslims if they follow a pious person, the jinn? It is possible for a jinn to convert, but it's not possible for one of us to convert his qareen. Only Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was able to convert his qareen. Yeah, I never heard about no other prophet. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he said, and he told the Muslims that everyone has a qareen amongst the devils, amongst the jinn, amongst the jinn. They said, even you, O Messenger of Allah? He said, even me. But Allah empowered me over him. And I made him embrace Islam. And now he only whispers to me the good. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So, sincerity, patience, hating the devil, loving the companions, loving the pious, believing in Allah and His Messenger. Maybe there's few more obligations of the heart that's slipping me at the moment. We'll stop here, inshallah. Tomorrow we'll go into the sins of the heart, or next time. Bi-idhnillah. Any other question?